The Coast Guard is an agency that's really not used to having public pressure the way the Environmental Protection Agency is or the U.S. Forest Service. We found ourselves in a situation where there were a set of nations discussing how to create international protections for the Arctic waters, or for ships essentially going through the Arctic. And Russia and a number of other nations were in favor of a ban on garbage dumping, and the U.S. was not. And the Coast Guard is the lead delegation. Different agencies are the delegation. So we did an action alert to our members and said, write the Coast Guard and ask them, why is the U.S. not supporting a ban on garbage dumping when Russia, we actually mentioned Russia, and other nations are supporting that. And the Coast Guard called us pretty angrily and said, what are you doing? And because they're not used to that. And we said to them, we really want to work with you. We think U.S. ought to take the right position. The U.S. did, and there is a ban on garbage dumping. And if I may, there are policy initiatives in the Arctic that are bright spots. There is a new set of regulations that protect marine mammals and marine species and communities from the anticipated increase in shipping traffic. It's called the Polar Code. It applies to Antarctica and the Arctic. All of the nations here in the U.S. have all been signatories to it. It came out of a UN agency. Have they gone far enough? Not at all, because they still allow ships to carry and use heavy fuel oil, which is really damaging. But it's a very important first step. And I mentioned before the Arctic 5 nations, Canada, the U.S., Norway, Russia, and Denmark, because of Greenland, did sign an agreement to put a moratorium on fishing in the high seas, because each nation controls its territorial waters, but all the other fishing nations of the world can go into the high seas and fish. China, Japan, Korea can all go into the middle of the Arctic and fish, but these nations have signed an agreement to say, let's put a moratorium on until we figure out and understand better the ecology and put a fisheries management system in place. So there are bright spots.